Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I have an ocean themed card to share with you. I'm stamping with Seaside Shore and Message in a Bottle. Message in a Bottle is a new product from the annual catalog, and so is Seasonal Layers Thinlits die. There's an edgelet in that pack that looks like ruffles, scallop, or ocean waves. So I'm using Color Theory Designer Series paper cut with the edgelet to look like a set of waves. I'm stamping my images with Dapper Denim ink onto Shimmery White cardstock. Shimmery White cardstock is a nice thick card that can stand on its own and hold a bit of watercolor. As long as I do not apply too much fluid, it will not warp the image whatsoever. It's a nice choice to do something different when you want to watercolor an image. I'm using the aqua painter and my stamp pads to work up color in layers on the different images. The fish are stamped with blue to match the ocean color of blue and carry that theme around. And the mermaid is stamped in black archival ink to allow her to stand out away from the other images that should be in the ocean. I've used a bunch of different stamp pads to get some color on all of the stamped images, and as you can see, I am not using any special watercolor techniques. I'm painting with the diluted ink directly onto dry cardstock. I'm not using the wet on wet technique this time. I'm going for something a little more fast and effective. Her hair is Cajun Craze, and I'm working in light layers to build up color in some areas, and that way she'll have a natural looking hair. The fin of the mermaid is also worked up in layers. I've put down one full layer of lemon lime twist, and we'll go back into the edges of the mermaid fin with Emerald Envy. Both of these colors coordinate well together, and it will allow to give her a little bit of dimension to her fin if it appears that it's not all one color. Again, I want to emphasize that I'm not using a special watercolor technique at all. This is just simply moving color to the small stamped images. In order to get a white hat on the mermaid's head, I used a little bit of black on the corners to give it a gray look, so that you can understand that something that's supposed to be white still needs a bit of shadow. Being as there are no coordinating dies to either one of these stamp sets, I chose to fussy cut the images. Oftentimes in fussy cutting, when we cut the images out, the white cut edge of the paper shows. So one way to counteract having a white stark contrast is to use the long edge of a marker along the cut part of your image and just color that cut image, and it'll give your images a more polished look. I have all of the different pieces that I've cut out of the Color Theory paper using the edgelet, and I'm offsetting the waves just slightly and lowering the waves down as the color gradation changes. I got as many waves out of one piece of paper as I could, and I want it to appear as if it's like a choppy sea. Not too choppy, but I want it to look more natural instead of just having one ripply wave. I want it to actually look like an ocean and give some interest to that area of the card. I will be adhering the ocean waves to the back side of another piece of Color Theory paper. But first I'm going to do some heat embossing on the bottom section and also on the top section. I'm using some Versamark sticky ink, and I'll be using silver embossing powder on the lower half to use some more of the stamps from Seaside Shore. There's a stamp image of bubbles which will work really cute to bring the eye around from the bottom all the way through the top of the card. We have seashells, we have starfish. There's a lot of different items to choose from in the stamp set, and also many images that I did not have room to fit in this project. I really like the image of the anchor, and there's a rope image too. Too many great possibilities, but only one project today. Now for the top section of that paper, I'm taking the large sentiment and I'm going to heat emboss it in white. That's going to put not only just a change, but some variety and a different color scheme to the top of the card. That will help transition the fish in the ocean at the bottom to look like the sky and clouds at the top section. And it's only one piece of paper. I'm trying to get the most out of this paper, as you can see. To adhere the ocean waves down to the card, I've used some snail adhesive, and I've trimmed the sides down to a width that will fit and match the rest of the cards. I'm going to raise up that bottom portion to where it covers the transition of the waves all the way down to where the fish are. This was something that I had to give considerable thought when designing this card, how I would make the waves transition into ocean at the bottom. So this is how I came up with being able to take a peek at what's above and what's below into the ocean. So I applied some Stampin' Dimensionals underneath this bottom panel, and then some snail adhesive to the ocean waves portion, and kind of made it where it's a raised bridge on just that bottom half of the card. I hope this is explaining it well enough for you to understand. Here are all of the images as they will be in place, and I cannot leave off any of the sparkly sequins that can look like bubbles in the water. There are so many different colors in the brand new metallic sequin pack that I have a chance to use iridescent sequins and metallic sequins all at the same time. I'm using bubbles again for the inside of the card to echo the outside of the card. Thank you guys for joining me for this tutorial. Please check the video description for purchasing links and a link to my blog. While at my blog, feel free to click on Shop Now to purchase any of the supplies which are all available for purchase at this time. Thanks again for watching, and I appreciate your support.
Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.